Hi friends, thanks for watching. I just wanted to do a little video about if you are new to starting a website, what to look for. So couple of years ago, I worked with a new web designer, and she knew more than was good, and she made some errors, didn't save the website, um, blamed me for us not being able to get into WordPress. She said that somehow I created a virus at the login with WordPress, and because she couldn't get in, I couldn't get in, and then I had unfortunately been using the Charter Spectrum for hosting, and that was a whole big disaster because Spectrum doesn't keep its software or platform to date for most average websites at this time. And so with the web designer not knowing things and Spectrum kind of not really being up to speed on stuff. And then I also had a domain name with GoDaddy, and GoDaddy also didn't seem to know anything. So if you're doing a website and you're just assuming GoDaddy knows what it's talking about, you're assuming Spectrum knows what it's talking about, and you're assuming your web designer knows what it's talking about, and it has caused me so much grief, so much agony, trying to, I mean, I'm just trusting these people that, they're supposedly the expert, and it's been just such an absolute disaster. And, you pay good money, all around, and you just expect things to be obvious. And if you're, going to Best Buy to buy an ice cream cone, Best Buy is going to tell you we don't sell ice cream, but that doesn't seem to be what people in the web world do, and I don't understand how this happens. And I guess just preying upon the ignorant, such as myself. So that's what I'm doing this video. So anyways, that first website was a disaster because couldn't get into WordPress. There was some sort of something wrong with it. Maybe it's a virus, and I don't know how me accessing WordPress from a computer could have caused a virus on WordPress. But anyway, I'm now thinking that Spectrum, because okay, so I've had 3 different accounts with Spectrum. I moved 3 times in 5 years, and Spectrum, even to this day, cannot keep my address straight. They don't, and I've changed web names, and they don't know my domain name, so they don't know my address. I mean, it's just, and it's like Spectrum. It's one of the biggest telecom, and they're I don't know. I don't understand how this works. Um, so, and then last night I was looking up reviews on Spectrum for websites, and yes, there's scathing reviews about Spectrum. So, and just basically saying that Spectrum doesn't update its infrastructure to keep up with things like WordPress. So Spectrum just doesn't have the capacity, and it's not invested in being like providing services for a modern website. And if you go into what's called Odin, their the business backend account stuff, it's like 1980s style software. It's like, you know, you're paying good money for years, and that's all they can do. It's like this really um, just uh, um, anyway. So I'm just cautioning you about Spectrum. I'm cautioning you about GoDaddy because I had also spent hours with GoDaddy, and it's like, I guess, like, doing things on the web is all about guesswork and just hoping that something will land right, because uh, GoDaddy didn't have answers, and what they needed to say is, "This won't work." You know, they needed to say, "This thing isn't here." And, and the thing is, I guess, like, it's a tech world, but there's a lot of entry level people who are just going, flying by the seat of their pants. They're not, probably GoDaddy's probably paying somebody $8 an hour or whatever. They're not paying people like well-versed computer people what they're worth unless they're, some sort of coder or developer working for them, like in a higher position. So it's like the rest of us are getting just kind of retail level type of people who are supposed to give us answers to our website. And it's really complicated information. It's been so stressful. But I wanted to also do something about a web designer. So I'm on my second web designer, and so uh, I would say don't just go for the one that maybe your teacher has used. Don't go for the one that your mentor says did their website, because that's what I did, and uh, just seems like things are charged triple what they're worth. And this is the second time the web designer is expecting me to understand web design. Like, to me, I'm paying you $3,500 to just set up a website. And don't expect me to become a web designer, but that is what I'm finding web designers expect. It's just horrible. And so really try to find somebody who is an expert on how to use Gmail. My latest web designer, this is the second one, and she was unable to find my emails that I sent to her name. And she said, "Oh, my kids have played with the email," or that she just couldn't find my emails. People see my emails, and then um, so I don't know if, like, she doesn't know how to find things in spam, or why she didn't put me. I mean, I paid her $3,500. Why she didn't put me in her address book, I don't know. Um, but you got to find somebody who's really on the ball and is able to access Gmail, knows how to look in a file, knows how to look up your name, maybe remembers your name. Find a web designer that can actually say your name, will remember your name for the duration of the project. Um, so another thing is, so the web designer, she sent me this 10-page Word document, didn't have page numbers on it. And when you have a website, you'll have the landing page, the about me page, the more about me page, the buy here page. And oftentimes there's the same phraseology, like you'll have about me on the landing page, and then about me on the contact me page or whatever. So she would have basically the same um, material for me to fill out, the same questions for me to fill out in the different categories, but um, like, I just printed out this document, 10 pages, no numbering, and I didn't know what it is I was doing. And again, like, web designers are assuming you know what a contact page is. They're assuming you know what a landing page is. And um, I just can't believe it. Like, and maybe this is just the growth, like, this is the growing pains of the technological age, where um, grand assumptions are made, and people are just too entitled, too self-absorbed, or maybe everybody else really does know what a landing page is and a contact page and all that, and maybe I am just the only one who's been left far behind. But if you're somebody like me, you want to also make sure that your web designer, when they're having you fill out like 10 pages of the brainstorming for the material, that they tell you what is what. This is the about me for the landing page, and so don't have the same um, uh, you know uh, header about me, like where it just says about me and it doesn't specify this is for the contact page. So I know what I'm saying might be hard to understand, but um, maybe after you go through what I've gone through, you'll understand and you'll just enjoy this commiseration. So yeah, so it seems like the current web designer that I'm working with might have some learning disabilities. So there would be one issue, and so I would email about that. And then, half hour later, I'm working on something else and I ask a question, so I email that question. And it seems like, so she wanted me, instead of sending an email as things were coming along, she wanted me to compile everything into a report basically and, send it to her. Um, and I got to say, that's really inconvenient because, like, I'm not, like, she's not my boss. She's supposed to work for me. If she can't click an email and open up and read it, I don't understand. I still don't know what that was about. Um, and and I would say that when you're doing, getting your first draft, let's say, like the first real significant draft of your website, have your designer send you a hard copy of what it looks like. Don't just do things online. Get that hard copy. It's really helpful to see the hard copy of your website. Also, so you're setting up a shopping cart, right? And you don't know what you're doing. Like, another thing that web designers seem to do is they forget to tell you about the SSL, like the security software that you need for your e-commerce website. I don't understand why they wait until the end to tell you about this possible $500 extra cost. I don't understand why they don't bring it up in the beginning. I mean, I'm pretty sure I asked about it in the beginning and it wasn't an issue. And then now that we're done, she brings it up. Further, um, I'm using this other product and it apparently already has an SSL like that comes with it. So I don't even, I mean, and she brought it up like now, even though I supposedly have coverage in that SSL with the current app I'm using or the platform I'm using. So and also, so this website, so I'm using Stripe, I'm using PayPal, and so the designer wants, like, for my communication with her, she wants it to be, she wanted me to use one email, and then when I'm setting her up as my developer uh, the for Stripe and PayPal, uh, she had me to go in, create a whole new account for her, both in Stripe and PayPal, using her other email. First, like, she needed to do it herself. Like, if she was like saying, I don't have Stripe set up in this one email that you use all the time. Like, the formal business email that I have been using all this time, that wasn't the correct email. So anyways, what I'm saying is, um, you know, like, if your web designer is going to have you do kind of her legwork, just make sure that you have all of the right stuff. She wants you to create a new account for her. Okay, well, what's the email address that she wants you to use? And it's just like, um, I mean, I'm hoping having a website is going to be worth it. I've got to say, if you're a beginning entrepreneur, I would actually hesitate. And I'm not even really a beginning entrepreneur, uh, but after just like how unrewarding and frustrating and just kind of like how it's like a crazy, silly bunch of clowns in a fire drill. Uh, like, I don't know how other people have success, like establishing a website in the beginning. I would say it's actually more trouble than it's worth. Uh, and I'm just doing it because I thought um, that I should have it. And even though, like, I follow a lot of different thought leaders, and one of which is Chris Kresser, and he was saying that He didn't really need, like, the website or whatever. When he first started, he just was doing, like, a blog, and he was just saying he didn't have anything fancy, and I think that was really wise, and, I mean, I I haven't had anything fancy really, for the past 20 years of trying to kickstart my career, and, I mean, maybe if I had more experience with it, the past 20 years, maybe things would have been better now, but, um, and maybe it's just something about my personality or my energy that's, made this website such a demoralizing disaster. But I just wanted to give a heads up on what to look for, um, uh, difficulties to anticipate, and, so overall, I would say try to have a web designer who has her wits about her, who knows how to use email, who knows how to look up your name, who knows how to navigate the folders in Gmail, that will put numbers on pages, when giving you like 10 pages to fill out, and that will make her paperwork easy to access, easy, and I mean be accessible as in you can understand it, because again, like, it's like you're somebody trying to learn Russian, you're trying to learn an alien language, an unfamiliar language, and, I would say try to find a web designer who hasn't forgotten what that is, and also try to find a web designer who's not, like, really selfish and entitled and kind of, like, in an altered state, like, not realizing, like, that it's not okay to have your client do your work for you. It's not okay um, to not know how to use email, um, and to expect your client to, bend over backwards for you, and maybe this was just some problem on my part, but I did want to put that out there and kind of put a warning, if you're a first time entrepreneur getting a website built, that you really have to be cautious, and you really need somebody to guide you through it, because GoDaddy isn't going to help you, Spectrum is not going to help you, and your web designer is not going to help you. And and I would say maybe just keep things very simple. And I don't know what the simple answer yet. And maybe I'll find it out after I even get this thing set up. But thanks for watching, and I hope you have a smoother process. I hope this information might be helpful to you. Uh, and yeah, God bless.